Are we cheating at being off-grid because we have air conditioning? Are we cheating because we have electricity or running water? When I first heard about off-grid, I thought what maybe you thought when you first heard about off-grid. I thought it was people toting their water from a nearby brook in really old wooden pails. I thought about people who could only see at nighttime with really charming old kerosene lanterns. I thought about people in quaint, colloquial frocks. Not trendy clothes, nothing like that. And I think a lot of people still think that that's what it is, even though there is a really big presence of people living off-grid, showing what they do off-grid. Now, I live in a camper, and if you've ever gotten into your car on a hot day after an hour at the grocery store, you open the door of your car and you're hit by a wave of heat. That is similar to how it is living in a camper in the summer. Campers get hot. It's basically a metal box. The insulation is really, really bad, and the windows aren't designed to allow much of a cross breeze in. So living in a camper in the summer, with kids especially, if you don't have air conditioning, would be really, really hard and really, really uncomfortable. Not saying that it can't be done, because I do know people who have done it for a very short time. But my question is, if you can have air conditioning and you can use a generator in the heat of the day to take a little bit of that edge of the heat and humidity off, why wouldn't you? I'm not off-grid because I like to punish myself, and I'm not off-grid because I don't like modern conveniences. I'm off-grid to give myself the power and control of my own resources as much as I can, and to be more self-sustainable. And for the time being, we actually do have quite a few solar panels, oh, God bless you, that eventually could sustain an air conditioner. But as of right now, we only have 2 solar panels hooked up because that's the capacity of the battery bank that we have. We have a smaller battery, and so we're gonna need to have a... Are you okay? But when we get a bigger battery setup, we do have more solar panels to eventually run off, hopefully a mini split unit to put into a house that we build one day. But in the meantime, the air conditioning in our camper works perfectly fine. You know, if you've ever lived in a camper or camped in a camper in the heat of the summer, you'll know that the air conditioner really takes off like maybe 5 to 10 degrees. I've even gone around with a meat thermometer inside the camper, feeling the air with it, and it ended up being, it was still in the 90s in the camper, and it's still so hot in there. So yeah, I'm gonna take the edge off with the air conditioning, and I'm not sorry. And that doesn't make me on the grid any more than not using an air conditioner would make me on the grid. It's simply that humming that you hear is the generator, and we are running that in order to be a little bit more comfortable. And we're also running some stand-up fans in order to be a little bit more comfortable. Now, not everybody who's off-grid wants to use an air conditioner, and that's fine. There are actually many ways that you can have passive cooling in your home that are really ingenuitive, really creative. And I know people whose houses aren't passively cooled at all, they're just really, really hot, and they deal with it. And that's okay too. Now, if you prefer to live as close to as our ancestors lived, that's admirable. I don't want to do that, but it's something that I know I can do if I have to, because I have before. And I think everybody's interpretation of off-grid is a little bit different. And that's what makes it so fun and special to check out other people's places, other people's setups. They're all so creative and it's also unique. So no, I wouldn't say that having an air conditioning unit off-grid makes me not off-grid or that it's cheating in some way. I think she's gonna have a hairball. Let's put the cat away. Ultimately, you have to figure out what your purpose for off-grid is, what your reason, what your values are, and go based off of that. You can try out a lack of technology and then build up from there. Maybe after you do it for a little while, maybe you realize, you know what, I actually don't mind an air conditioning unit. Whether you are on the grid or off the grid, I hope that this hot summer, you find a little bit of comfort.